A girl survives a massacre. Her entire family is killed while she hides in the house, too terrified to move. She's 12. The man who did it disappears. No fingerprints, no witnesses, nothing the police can use. The case goes cold, and for 20 years it stays that way until that girl grows up and writes a book about it. Not to heal, not to move on, but to find him. And here's the part that changes everything. The killer is still alive and he buys the book. The novel is The Nothing Man by Catherine Ryan Howard, and I'm clearly not the only one who thinks it works. It's sitting at about a 4.3 rating on Amazon with nearly 9,000 reader reviews, which is not easy for a crime novel that does something this unconventional. But what really got me is not just this idea, it's the execution. Because from this point on, you are not just following the survivor, you are sitting inside the killer's head while he reads about his own crimes. Let me start with Eve. She's the girl who survived, now in her 30s. She's built a life, but nothing about her past has really settled. And you can tell this book is not about closure. She's not trying to move on. If anything, she's trying to bring something back to the surface. Almost like she's setting a trap and waiting. And then there is Jim. Older, quiet, works as a supermarket security guard, lives a completely ordinary life with his wife. The kind of man you wouldn't notice, which is exactly how he got away with it. There's nothing about him that stands out. So, he picks up Eve's book, just out of curiosity, and at first it doesn't bother him. He's reading about himself, yes, but from a distance. He assumes she doesn't really know anything that really matters. But then something small appears, a detail that is too accurate, too close. This is where I leaned forward, because now the question becomes, how much does she actually know? And the more he reads, the worse it gets. You see the shift happen very quietly, from indifference to unease to something very close to fear. One reader put it really well. They said the book is not about who or even fully why, but about how and when, and just enough of the why to make it unsettling. That's exactly right, because what you're really watching is a man losing control of his past. There's a moment I cannot forget. He's sitting at home reading about one of the murders, his wife right there next to him, completely unaware of who she's living with. Nothing dramatic is happening, but the tension is unbearable. You are just thinking, how long can this last? At the same time, you're following Eve, and her investigation isn't dramatic either. It's patient. She talks to people, revisits places, goes back over details everyone else has moved past, and slowly something begins to take shape. That is where the book really works. It doesn't try to shock you, it just tightens. And then I came across something the author said, which made the whole thing click. She had been reading I'll Be Gone in the Dark, and after the Golden State Killer was finally arrested, she started wondering, did he know about the book? Did he read it? What would that feel like? That idea of a killer reading about himself is what became The Nothing Man. And you feel that all the way through, because Jim isn't just remembering, he is realizing. So is it worth reading? Yes. Not because it's loud or shocking, but because it is controlled. It builds tension without trying too hard. Structurally, it's clever without showing off, and the psychological anger is what really lands. So I'll say this as someone who writes crime fiction myself. My own murder mystery, Soft Kill, published by Penguin Books, is available on Amazon. What I admired here was the restraint. It trusts the reader, and that's rare. If you want to read it, The Nothing Man is easily available in India. Paperback, Kindle, audiobook, all of that. And if you like this kind of story, if it's the killer's perspective that stayed with you, read You by Caroline Kepnes. If it's the slow, layered investigation, The Chestnut Man by Soren Swystrup is a strong follow-up. And if you enjoy stories where books and murders overlap, Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz is very satisfying. Let me leave you with this. Do you think stories like this help bring justice, or do they just give people like him another life? This is Twisted by Shubhra. I'll see you at the next crime scene.